Hello everyone, it's Ms Redmond here again with your second lesson from the Elements, Atoms and Compounds topic. This one is called What are Atoms? You've got your learning journey down here, so please feel free to pause the video and write that information down. And if you haven't got one already, please go and get a pen and a piece of paper so you can take notes and do any little tasks that I give you as we go along. This link is really cool. It's like an animation, and it shows you the universe to scale. So it will show you the relative sizes of everything. You can scroll in to the absolutely tiny. That's the scale that's more relevant to us, because you can start to see individual atoms and go even smaller. And you can scroll out to the totally gigantic, and you can see how big the whole visible universe is, and there's even Minecraft world on there. So I strongly recommend you visit this website and have a look at that. An element is made up of one type of atom, and an atom is the smallest part of an element that can exist. If you can remember these two definitions and apply them, that is a big part of this topic done. We'll go into more detail about these two in just a minute. So this is a picture that some, I'm going to say geeks at IBM have made, and they've done it by moving individual atoms into place, and they've made the Star Trek name with the Star Trek logo. So all of these little blobs that you can see are individual atoms. And this is an image of a motherboard from a computer. I guess this is silicon. There's a similar image to this in the electronic book if you want to have a look at that. So again, the blobs are individual atoms. So you kind of get an idea about how tiny this stuff is. So here's your scale bar for that drawing. So this distance is 2 nanometers. So have a think about how tiny those atoms are. Properties is something that we talk about a lot in science. A property is a description of the appearance or behaviour of a substance. So, for example, my water bottle is pink and it's low density because it will float in water. So if you can, list some examples yourself of properties, and on the next slide I'll show you some examples. So here are some examples of properties. Colour, whether something is shiny or dull, what state it is in at room temperature, solid, liquid or gas. We need to remember that all substances can exist in the solid, liquid or gas state. It's not that we have different types of solid, liquid and gas particles, although we might say it that way by accident. Whether something has a high or low boiling point is a property, high or low melting point. Conductor or insulator of electricity, conductor or insulator of heat, and whether it reacts vigorously or slowly with acids. So these are just examples of properties. If you've got different ones that you want to check, then just email your teacher. Here's an exam style question. Now this is a style of question which they really like to ask you in exams. You've got some particle diagrams here. Now sometimes it'll be straightforward like this one. I don't mean to say that it's easy. I mean that it's not got any extra information. It's not trying to trick you. And sometimes it'll be more complicated. So we've got 4 particle diagrams, A, B, C and D, and we've got 4 descriptions. 1 says lots of atoms from 2 different elements. 2 is several atoms from 1 element only. 3 is an individual atom, and 4 is the same as 2, several atoms from 1 element only. So have a go at matching those up yourself, and pause the video and I will tell you the answers in a moment. So A could match up with 2 or 4 because you can see that they're all the same type of atom in A, so that must be an element. Same deal for B, that could match up with 2 or 4. There's several atoms from 1 element only because they're all the same type of atom. C, we've got two different types of atoms here, so that matches up with 1 because they're two different types of atoms. There must be two different elements. And D matches up to number 3. It is an individual particle. Here's your summary. An element is made up of one type of atom. An atom is the smallest part of an element that can exist, and a property is a description of the appearance or behaviour of a substance.